It is porridge season, you guys. For this video, I am trying to come up with a fun little porridge recipe every day for a week straight. The challenge here is basically not to be sick of it after the 7 days, which is pretty unlikely. I do love oatmeal. By the way, this video is not everything I ate. I had some more food besides porridge. Also, a quick thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring these ideas. Alright, let's start this week off with the most fall type flavor, pumpkin spice latte. I mean, I like coffee now finally, so I could not start with this one. Pumpkin puree is still not being sold at every corner here in Germany, so I'm making my own here. Normally I would go about it roasting the pumpkin, but I didn't feel like waiting for an hour, so I just boiled it this time. I went with a hokkaido pumpkin here that I cut in half. No need to peel this one. I only ended up using half actually. Be careful to remove all of the seeds and then cut it into bite-sized chunks. Add the cooked and drained chunks to a food processor and blend everything up until smooth. I gotta say, I still think the roasted pumpkin puree tastes better than the boiled version, but you do save a lot of time and energy with this one. To a small saucepan, add some small cut oats, a pinch of salt, some pumpkin pie type seasoning. Also added some vanilla, ground flax seeds, then a couple heaping tablespoons of the puree, some maple syrup to sweeten, and some coffee of course, and non-dairy milk. I'm using unsweetened soy here. Feel free to adjust the coffee and milk ratio to make this taste more or less like coffee. Bring this up to a boil, then let it simmer for 6 to 10 minutes over medium heat, stirring frequently. Then plate it up. I topped this with some soy yogurt and cinnamon. Very cozy afternoon. My evening on Monday was quite cozy as well. I went to my friend's house to help my friend dog sit her friend's dog. It took a while for the dog and I to become friends as well. Very wholesome times. Starting my morning off with some herbal tea. Obviously. There's this bakery chain in Berlin and I think also in other places in Germany called Zeit für Brot. They used to carry this apricot, tahini, cinnamon bun. I think they've discontinued it. Maybe they're bringing it back at some point. Anyway, this bun was the inspiration for my next porridge, apricot and sesame oatmeal. To my pot, I'm adding small cut oats, pinch of salt, some sesame seeds, and a teaspoon of vegan butter. With the heat on medium-high, I'm letting the butter melt and simultaneously, it's a hard word to say, toast the oats and seeds for 2 to 3 minutes. Then adding the plant milk, mixing it all up, and again, letting it cook for 6 to 10 minutes over medium heat. In the meantime, I went ahead and chopped up some dried apricots. Plus, I made this tahini, I want to say dressing, but it's more like a syrup. I would very much recommend trying this yourself. I don't even eat that much tahini on a regular basis, especially not in sweet foods or sweet meals, but this was very nice. I didn't do anything exciting that day. I basically just spent my time editing. Okay, so Wednesday was a whole lot more exciting because I got to make some chocolate croissants for my previous video. Link is down below. Anyway, we're here for the oatmeal. It's a tiramisu flavored one that I put together the night before. Still cooking the oats though. So it was made up of small cut oats, salt, ground flax seeds, vanilla, a little bit of non-dairy milk, coffee, and a bit of maple syrup. Again, feel free to adjust the coffee plant milk ratio. For instance, I added much more coffee here than I did to the pumpkin one. Okay, so my initial idea for the cream was to replicate my cashew yogurt frosting that I used for the healthy tiramisu recipe that I did a while ago. But I was going for a 1 serving recipe here, and my food processor really has a hard time blending small amounts of things. And then I ended up just scrapping that idea and just going with plain yogurt that I just slightly sweetened with maple syrup and vanilla. Don't forget to dust over some unsweetened cacao in the end. Yeah, I feel like this is missing something still. If you have any ideas on how to spice up this recipe, make it more tiramisu-like, let me know in the comments. I had not one, but 2 porridges on Thursday. Is that how you say it? 1 porridge, 2 porridges? Anyway, Ati and I went to Hakata that day to try out their new fall flavors and to get some work done. I love this place. So this day's recipe was actually a savory one. It ended up becoming one of my favorites from the entire week. Okay, so first off, prep the chickpea topping. So preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius and add a can of drained chickpeas to the baking sheet. Drizzle over some olive oil and season it with lots of spices, chili flakes, nutritional yeast, seasoned salt, garlic powder, regular salt, turmeric. Then this goes into the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes or longer if you prefer them to be more crunchy. To a small to medium-sized saucepan, add some quick cooking oats, vegetable broth, nutritional yeast, and a bit of salt. Bring this up to a boil, mix it well, and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, Latte here is chopping up some onions and zucchini. We sauteed both in a tiny bit of oil for about 8 minutes over medium-high heat. To the sauteed vegetables, I added some baby spinach, letting that wilt down. Salty porridge needs a lot of seasoning and, in my opinion, also a little bit of something acidic for it to not taste so bland. And then plate it up. So good. Like I said, one of my favorites from that week. Friday, I didn't have a lot of time to cook, so I decided on some 5-minute oatmeal. I used to always eat my oats this way. To a small bowl, I added the quick cooking oats, chia seeds, a pinch of salt. This is something that's new. I'm also adding some dried strawberries here that I crushed with my bare hands a little bit. Then I poured over hot boiling water, just enough to cover the oats. Let this sit for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I chopped up about half an apple, and then once the oats had soaked up all the liquid, I added a little bit of maple syrup, gave this a quick mix, and then topped this off with the apple, some more dried berries, and like a heaping teaspoon of vegan cream cheese, like the plain one, because I wanted to see what that tastes like. It's interesting. But yeah, this is really good actually. I must say, I got a little bit tired of oats at this point, so I switched to rice flakes on Saturday. Yeah, we got rice flakes, salt, cinnamon, and dried ginger in this. Also some vanilla, non-dairy milk. Letting everything simmer for about 6 minutes, stirring pretty much all the time. Then I took it off the heat and put a lid on to let it steam through for another 5 to 7 minutes. I finished this off with some apple pear sauce, some raspberries. Actually, this was kind of similar to the one Artemis had on Thursday. I also drizzled some peanut butter over this though, and sprinkled over some puffed quinoa. It was very good, especially with with the 2 different spices that I added, ginger and cinnamon. On Sunday, it was so nice out. Yeah, that motivated me to go outside, have a little bit of a wholesome self-care type morning. It was noon. It was not morning. This last porridge meal had multiple elements to it. First off, I cut all the plums I had in half. I de-seeded them and then cut them into smaller chunks. Adding those chunks to a pot along with some orange juice and lots of cinnamon. Also a tiny bit of maple syrup. Honestly, can be skipped if you want to. Let this simmer over medium for like 10 minutes or until it turns all purple and the fruit is almost broken down. So while that was going on, I put together another 5-minute porridge base. This one was made with cacao as well. And then the last component, I was thinking it's a Sunday, maybe we could make this Sunday themed in a way, and what food is more Sunday than pancakes? So I decided to make some tiny pancakes, 2 years late to the trend. But yeah, I made a small batch of my pancake recipe with some added vanilla protein powder. So I combined all the wet ingredients in a bowl, letting that sit while I combined all the dry ones in a separate bowl. Then, you know, brought these two together, mixing until smooth. Then let these cook in a lightly greased skillet over medium heat for about 2 minutes on each side. And then I assembled my plate. So first we got the chocolate oat base, then some coconut yogurt, some of the plum concoction, and a few of the mini pancakes. This plum sauce tastes like Christmas. So good. I'd also never put pancakes on top of my oatmeal before. That was interesting. And that brings us to the end of my porridge week. Now, do I still like porridge? Yes. Do I need a couple days off from consuming oats? Yes, very much so. I still hope you got some good food inspiration from this video. And yeah, I have some more cafe footage, like cafe sounds to share with you. I find those very relaxing, so I'm gonna put these here at the end of the video while I talk about Squarespace a bit. Squarespace has got all the tools you need to create your own professional, beautiful looking website. It comes complete with marketing tools and analytics, helping you run and grow your business even more. Choose from a wide selection of gorgeous, professionally designed templates and make them into your own. Whether it's for a food blog, a podcast landing page, an online store, they definitely have the right template for your needs. You can also have multiple people accessing your site and help you manage it as contributors. And of course, all the content that you put on your site belongs to you and only you. Try it out. Go to squarespace.com/MinaRome and use the code MinaRome to get 10% off your first purchase of a new site or domain. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this until the end. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Bye.